You looking for me, you can find me at the barbershop. Pulling up to get a cut, bumping through the parking lot. I keep it clean, Rico's where I'm running to. If you in the city, then you probably gonna be coming to. Gang getting down, Red's getting down, Nick getting down, Ron getting down, just to name a few. Everybody blade on point. You trying to get fresh, I'm telling you this the joint. Hands down, top shop up in this vicinity. Promises age 9, LaRon been getting me. Temper on the side, I'm trying to grow out the...
What's up, guys? Welcome to the K.O.S. Barber Club podcast. With me today, I have a guest, and we're going to go and dive in to the collection of wisdom on the science of everything in life. And the reason I brought this barber in, he's a good friend of mine. I've known him for over 10 years. And we're going to get to the story why it is that I really wanted him to come here and share his story. So without further ado, is Roddy Colon.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity again. And
Yeah, Roddy. So like I told you, man, this is like a collection of wisdom on the science of everything in life. So pretty much we gain knowledge throughout our life, right? Sometimes we don't even know we're gaining knowledge. And the reason I brought you in here is because you're one of the first barbers that I saw giving traditional haircuts, classic traditional haircuts. And when I say classical traditional haircuts, the pompadours, the comb overs, the low tight fades, the burst fades, things of that nature. But the part that was most impressive was your shear work. So like, tell us exactly how you came about to become a barber. And then once you tell us that, then I want you to explain how you got to that point. That this was what, 2009? 2008?
yeah, 2009, 2010 is when
Nobody that I know at the time was doing that.
when I went back into cutting hair
world.
to the barber world since I moved from Puerto Rico over here.
All right, so Puerto Rico. Let's start from the beginning.
Okay, so Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, of course, everybody knows how everything works in Puerto Rico, the streets, and although I never got tangled into any of that street game,
You're talking about like urban,
and other things that happen in Puerto Rico that everybody talks about.
family areas, yes.
Right. So although I didn't live in a low income area, my hood got really, really, really hood.
Yeah.
And
And this was since you were born. So what?
I mean, I lived there until I got married. I got married really young at 19. That's when I left.
Because you're a lover,
Yeah.
not a fighter.
Always in love.
So you were then in high school and
Right. I was there in high school, but before all of that stuff, parents get divorced and the whole drama that everybody, a lot of people go through, a lot of people suffer more, a lot of people suffer less. But that's when I realized, I had my troubles in school. I had some guy that, pulled me by the hair and really like, shook me for a little bit. And I know he told me something that was pivotal. And I need to touch on that
he
because
told you something like an insult, or he told you something?
no,
just to change it?
he went to the military with my dad. He went to high school with my dad. This guy was a guy that knew my dad since I was a kid.
Okay.
When I was in 7th grade and my parents
So
got
you say he
divorced.
pulled your hair, was like snap the fuck out of
No, this guy pulled my hair. I was passing by the comedor, how you say, or the cafeteria,
it. Yeah.
and he pulled me by the hair. Boom. And he called me up back and told me, "Hey, you're Lewis's son?" And I said, "That depends." And then he said a nickname that only the people that went to the military with my dad knew.
And your dad went to the U.S.?
The Army, U.S. Army, yeah, U.S. Army. And they went together. But he said, "No, el hijo de this Lewis." And I'm like, oof. I'm not going to say it because my pops doesn't like it.
Okay.
When I said that, well, this guy really knows my dad. So he told me, this is my name. His name is Benigno Mata, right? But
Mata.
Yeah, Benigno Henry Mata. He said, mi nombre es Benigno Mata. Benigno is good.
Yeah.
But he said, no es por bueno. This guy, we're talking it's 1980 something. This guy had glasses similar to yours, but with this fade that I have right here on my glasses.
Okay.
The mustache like that. El
So
pelo
he
en
was a
el
cartel
pe.
guy.
But this guy looked like straight up a cartel guy.
Okay.
Shook. He told me this. He was a social worker at the time. He told me, if you get in trouble, you're going to see me. So tread carefully. But if you get in trouble, you come and see me.
Oh, shit. Wait, say that again, because that sounded amazing.
Right? I tell this to my kids every time. He told me, if you get in trouble, you're going to see me. But if you get in trouble,
Come see me.
you come see me.
Wow. Okay.
Because I'm the only guy that can help you. And this starts everything.
And this was in the hood.
Right. I mean, this was in school. The thing is, my town became the hood for a specific time. It wasn't, it was bad. It wasn't.
What town was this? Shout them out.
Fajardo, Puerto Rico. That's a land of
Shout out to
greats.
Fahad, whatever.
We have basketball stars, champion boxers. That little town has a lot.
Yeah.
Radio personalities, whatever. Reggaeton.
It's like an epidemic.
No, not that.
Too many athletes.
Nah, it's good people in my town. Well, whatever. That started I was a little kid, 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. I was making all the mistakes in life, no supervision whatsoever. But my grandfather was involved in one of those esoteric practices, like Freemasonry and all that stuff. So every Tuesday,
Freemason?
I don't know if it was a Freemason or one of the others.
He was with and he was in that tribe.
He was in one of those esoteric practices. He will go to the lodge every Tuesday to meet and all stuff. This happens.
My grandfather used to do that.
Right. So was it a Shriner or was it a Freemason or was it Caballero Alu?
Whatever. They wore the little bloop,
yeah.
and they showed up.
No, they didn't do the little.
No,
they didn't do the
dressed up.
It was always dressed up. Right. Always cuello corbata, dressed up to the T. So every Tuesday, since I was a little kid, he used to go to his compadre to get a haircut.
Okay.
Ese barbero se llamaba Chuito.
Chuito.
Yeah, Jesús. So
What does that mean?
Jesús.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Since when?
Yeah, Jesús. From Jesús, they call him Chucho or Chuito.
That's Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican as
First
ever.
time I've heard that.
Yeah, Chuito. Jesús, they call him
Take that,
Chuito.
Chuito.
So whatever. He used to go every Tuesday there, and before I went to school, I always used to go there. With him, he was always get shave, and this barber, Chuito, man, this guy was always with the la bata blanca, white. And he used
old
to,
school one that flaps over?
yes, sir.
With the buttons here?
This guy had a bar, his barbershop, and a little bar with a pool table and all that stuff, because it would do double duty. Barbers always are in the hustle. And he used to smoke cigarettes. This is, in the 80s, early 80s. Early 80s.
Okay. You were 13, 14.
No, I was a little kid. This is a little bit before.
This is before the pulling of the hair.
So, this is before the pulling of the hair, but we need to touch on this because it's pivotal. Every Tuesday, before I went to school, I went with my grandpa there so he can get a shave and a trim.
Yeah.
Because they will all go there, but all his boys were there. But this barber had this pinta that was like so special.
It intrigued you.
Man, he was always sharp, un bigotito, the cigarette with the little boquilla, para que las manos, the hands wouldn't smell like cigarette. And he was more sharp guy. And it always, that guy marked me. I like what he did and the way he looked.
You, the style, the
whatever. Long story short, go back all the troubles. And when I'm about to go to high school, I don't know what I'm going to do. But you go to vocational school, you can pick a trade. When I found out there was barbering there, I was like, this is my chance to.
You thought of that guy.
This is my chance to redeem myself because, my grandfather, I wasn't in bad terms with him, but he was a little bit like almost kind of giving up on that. I don't know what this guy's going to be. But I told Grandpa, what if I become a barber? That man lit up.
Oh, because he respected the craft.
Yeah. I said, what? I said, man, that's the best thing you can do.
Holy shit. Okay, great.
And I was already, balding my cousins and all that stuff.
You were 13, 14 already. 14, I was already balding my cousins and all stuff. I was about to go to high school, 15. Okay. Yeah.
And but when my grandpa gave me the boat, I was like, oh, this is sick.
You just did little baldies.
Yeah, I was just doing my baldies. But, I always like creative stuff, making guitars out of things, painting stuff. I always like the creative stuff because my mom was
artistic.
very artistic, very creative.
Okay.
And then, every time I would do a baldy, you get that little recognition a little bit that, you've been a trouble kid and then somebody's recognizing that you did something good.
Yeah.
It felt like, oof, this is it. Wait a minute. And then I'm going to gain my grandpa's grace. I can turn all this shit around, get a job that is decent.
Yeah, I think you saw that, like you said, they were like, oh, you're like, okay, finally.
Okay, this is something that I like, that I can do. I can express myself. I can be who I am because, I was who I was.
You're developing your self-concept.
Right.
But you had the self-awareness to know,
hey, this is it. This is my line. Boom. And I went in it.
No hesitation.
No hesitation. Then I started.
You really have a choice.
I mean, it was either that or
fixing ACs.
No, or go sell drugs like all my friends.
Nah, fuck that.
Because
that ain't, no.
They were all selling drugs. They were all making money. And I started cutting hair. you know, and still, all my boys at that point when we were in high school, all those guys had four wheelers, and they had motorcycles, and they all started getting cars, and they all had cell phones because that's when cell phones started. And all these people got all this money. I'm like, yo, and I'm here stuck in here for $5.
$5 at that
Yeah.
time. Holy shit.
For $5 in my house. I told the guy who run the show,
Yeah.
I said, yo, fam, everybody's making too much money. I want in.
Yeah.
And he told me like, nah. I can put you in this.
That's the story with every like OG.
Yeah,
They're like,
I can
"Yo,
put
this
you
ain't
in.
for you. This
I
ain't
can
for
put you on this because how am I gonna look at your father? Your father used to coach me basketball when I was a little kid. How am I gonna look at your mother? I know this year I was born. Like, no, fam. You cut hair. I said, how can I make more money? I'll show you how to make more money. He started going every Friday and saying, nah, I'm gonna go first. And they started bidding. No, more. Before you know, it was 1992 when I was charging $20 for the first haircut in my garage. Because everybody,
So he would go first.
He
and
would
have
say,
everybody outbid each other.
I'll beat each other. So I'll give 20. Oh, he had the most money.
Shit.
So then the second one is the one that said the most because everybody was slanging. Everybody had a little more. So,
They wanted to get first and get out of there.
yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, before you know, I used to make $100, $110 on 1992.
So you think that self-awareness kicked in also as far as your worth as a barber when you started seeing that, or you thought it was just a gimmick?
I mean, I knew it was kind of a gimmick that he created because I knew it, but nobody else knew it.
But it also brought that into your mind.
Right. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Somebody created this idea that my cuts are worth this. So then this is good. Because perception is reality at the end of the day. And the haircuts weren't bad. So perception is reality, and the how you present yourself
Correct.
is always gonna have a positive outcome if you do it positively.
Which explains the style.
Right.
You portray.
So then there's one thing I always did. Even then, I used to cut in my mom's garage, but every Friday before I started cutting hair.
No AC?
No AC, fam.
Puerto Rico?
But anyway, it's East.
Pay your dues. I had a barber ask me the other day, how do I get on your podcast? I'm like, pay your dues.
100%.
And then he goes, how much does it cost? I'm like,
Married.
"Know what I mean?
What is it called? Meritocracy.
Okay.
Merit. The marriage. You gotta sweat it. Sweat equity is the best investment
Yeah,
you can.
then when you get there, it's easy because you already paid the dues.
100%.
If somebody puts you there in the fire, you're gonna burn.
It's not the same. It doesn't have the
At least
same.
for me, no.
It doesn't have the same outcome. Now,
Talking about that earlier, man. Kids
Right.
nowadays, YouTube. I know how to do that.
yeah.
I actually have a story, bro. I had a barber that she started working with me, and I asked her, "Hey, you know how to do wax?" She's like, "Yeah, of course." I'm like, "All right," because a client's coming in like in an hour, and they want the full service, and you're the only one available. Yeah, sure, no problem. You know what she did? She goes to the bathroom, YouTube's how to wax, and then the client came, burned the shit out of the the client's ear, like to the point that it got a little burn blister.
Oh wow.
And I was like, yo, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I don't know. It just burned him. I was like, yo, you know what you're doing? After a while, she admitted. She's like, no, I just went on YouTube. So message to all barbers out there. If you don't know, say you don't know. Because you want that person that knows to show you the way. Because there's a lot of ways to do one thing. There's the wrong thing, the wrong way, the right way, and then the way you do it.
Right.
That's the best advice I could give.
100%. I agree 100%.
So you were cutting in the heat in the garage.
Right. Whatever. That whole thing happened, and then time came where I had to go to the barbershop. I was 16 years old. This is 1992. Craig Mack.
92. That was a great year.
Craig Mack. I have it right tattooed somewhere here on this blade. The blade, and it says 92 right there.
That's when you really picked up the trait.
That's when I started working at the shop. February 1992.
February.
February.
Valentine's Day. You love that.
Valentine. So I'm gonna tell you this quick. Barbershop that I went, barber's name Julio Rodriguez, Yuyi. Arguably the best guy. Cut most of the people from the basketball team from my town. And
This is basketball Olympic team or just
this is the town basketball team, but
which is top?
I mean, if you know, you're a Heat fan. You remember Carlos Arroyo?
Yes, he was from
He's from my town.
Nice.
So he's from my town. That's his basketball team. He played when he was young there, and I think his brother was the director. He owned the team at a point.
His brother.
No, him.
Arroyo?
Arroyo. I think he
Cool.
he
After
owned.
though, after he became
I mean,
big.
yeah, after the heat and all that stuff. So that guy used to cut all those basketball players, Edgar Leon, all those guys, Georgie Torres, they're legendary basketball players from. So I wanted to go to him because this is the guy. This is the guy going to teach me the way, right? And I remember, man, it was like a 5 p.m. It's February. It don't matter. It's hot as ever. I know that barbershop faced west, so the sun is beaming. 5 p.m. I'm just there pacing back and forward, like how I go in to ask
Because
this,
you were cutting hair at the crib.
and then I wanted to go.
You wanted to be part of that.
Yeah, and I'm there in the front, going back and forward, pacing. I'm like, God damn it. I say, you know what?
I'm doing this.
Go in. Hey, Yui, Roddy Golón, yo quiero cortar pelo aquí. Y me dijo, ¿por qué? Y yo le dije, bueno, porque ya llevo mucho tiempo practicando y tengo un modelo listo para que I have a model ready so you can see me cutting hair. And I said, oh, like that?
Ahead of the curve.
So he told me, yeah, readiness, you know?
Yeah.
I was ready.
Prepared.
You know, I was ready. I had the guy. If he wanted to see me, it was going to be that day. And he saw me sweating like that. He said, tell me, fam, let me tell you something.
Calm down.
You know what? I'm going to give you the chance?
Tomorrow.
Because you stood in that sun for like 30 minutes.
They saw you.
He saw me.
They were probably like, this guy, what is he?
You stood in that sun for like 30 minutes. Like, hey, bring your guy. Like, can I call him? Call him up. You know, landline.
Yeah.
Back in the days. Call him up. Oye, Carmelo, ven para acá. Carmelo McPhee. Never forget his name.
Wow.
Jun
Yo,
Jun.
there's a lot of cool names in your story, bro.
I remember a lot of names.
No, but the names
He
are cool.
he came, chop him up,
Yeah.
bing bam boom. The guy was like, you're my guy. I'm going to teach you the ways.
Nice.
So he took me under his wing.
Mhm.
And when you said sister game. My sister,
Cheers.
my shear game sounds like his.
Wow, he's the one that put you on.
Remember that sound? That's his sound. It's not mine. It's his.
Yeah, what he's talking about, guys, is when a barber or a stylist that knows how to use shears, it's a different sound, man. It's not like it's like.
And I have those, I use those big
Yeah, I
bad
used to-
boys.
I was ignorant at the time. I'll admit it. At that time, it was what 2000. What was it? 2008.
Yeah, no, a little more. Like 11, 10, 11, yeah.
10, 11. And I've never seen a barber have that skill set. So when I started cutting and I heard that, I'll be like, what is this guy doing? And you were doing the whole like Edward Scissorhands. I was like, oh, okay. That's a different level.
It was, this 8-inch
8-inch, bro. That's
barber,
crazy.
8-inch barber shears.
I think the most I had, it was 6.5. That's the most.
Yeah, 8-inch barber shears. I can't get off of it. Because in barber school, my barber teacher was, go back with the names, Carmelo Roman. I don't forget people's name. Carmelo, I like to call people by name too.
Correct.
Yeah. Carmelo Roman, he was a Vietnam veteran who lost the ability to cut hair because he got cut in a barbed wire jumping into a trench. So he would cut just for a little bit and the shears would fall out of his hand.
Fuck.
So when we went to barber school, he told us he had a raspy voice, from, cigarettes and recreational stuff,
Yeah.
So he called everybody Herbacio. And he spoke in German. He was a weird guy.
He was a character.
Eccentric guy. And he had that little trumpet haircut. You seen that old school trumpet haircut?
The elephant one?
The little elephant trunk. Yes, sir. He had
Would he
it.
do it with the thing in the middle?
No, I mean, he was already so set up that,
You know how to do it?
and that goes, that's why I know old school.
Wow.
Because
So
Carmelo,
he had an original style.
so Carmelo Roman told us, listen, I'm not going to teach you how to cut hair. I'm going to teach you how to shave. I'm going to teach you how to taper.
This is not you asking. He said,
No, this was my teacher in high school, in vocational school. He told me, I'm not going to teach you how to cut hair. I'm going to teach you how to shave, how to taper, and how to be a barber.
Wow.
Cutting hair, you will learn on your own.
Okay, so you were self-aware that you wanted to be a barber. You took the initiative to create a self-concept, which is professional barber.
100%.
You took that step,
Right?
no matter what. And now you're with the real deal.
Correct.
And they're seeing how you're in love with the craft and they're showing you everything.
Correct. So now I used to go in the morning to barber school, right? The first year was all The first year in high school, it was all, sanitation, ethics, and all that stuff. And being a military guy, my high school teacher, which is my barber teacher, was thorough with ethics.
What's something from that time that you learned that you still to this day use?
Okay. You gotta keep your word. Although there was a time where I didn't. That's one thing. Timeliness is important.
Oh,
It don't matter what skill you have as a barber. You can be the best hair cutter in the world, but if you're late, you're late. It don't matter. You can be a killer, but you're late. You're late.
you could ruin someone's day.
There's a guy out there who cuts way less hair than you, way less,
Less skill set.
less skill set,
I learned that, man.
less attitude, but guy's on time. He's always there. He's always able and ready. And you know what? There's people out there that want a fresh fade. There's people there that need a timely fade.
I like that.
And then you got to think in which of the areas is that you are going to capitalize. So if you know that you have a little bit of trouble in that fade game, like, God damn, I can never fade like this guy, bro. How can they don't look that blurry? I don't have that Photoshop fade. Yeah, because you don't have Photoshop, fam.
I remember you coming to the shop and I remember asking you, I don't know if you remember this conversation. I was like, yo, Roddy, you cut dope. What are you doing here? And you told me straight up, I want to learn how to fade like you guys fade. And I was like, oh.
Because I come from a traditional background. This guy showed me how to do that. And then Yugi was good. But the fades in Puerto Rico were different. When I came to Miami, and listen.
Yeah, Miami.
This can
I
be.
always say Miami is the tuna skin
This
king.
can be controversial. People say.
Tuna skin king.
People are going to say, oh, New York, blah, this, that. Philly, I don't know.
I remember watching people from New York. They had skill set. But the first people that I've seen with a tuna skin, perfect taper, to the point that you're like, damn, was Miami.
I do this. I categorize, there's fades, right? Then there's Miami fade.
You don't know where it starts or stops. And then you look and it's a skin. You're
in
like,
the
oh,
grand scheme of things, the Miami fades, they're unbeatable. I mean,
why? Because of the damn heat.
Yeah,
Heat out here, you gotta have a feed all the time.
And it's just I just couldn't. I was like, but how is it so big? Why is it so blur? It's a blur, but it wasn't a blur. It was a blur.
Yeah, you don't know where it stops.
Like, you know what? And this is a good time to pay homage to Kev.
Kev Rock.
This
Shout
is
out my boy Kevin Blanco, man.
This is a good,
Rest
mate.
in power,
Rest in power. I think Kevin, when he told me in his whole style, yo, you know what this is called? It's called Ninja Shadows. Ninja Shadows. I'm like, this is like, it sounds corny. No,
it's true.
But it's true.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how after he told me that, I was like, oh, it makes sense right now. It's that little smoke. Yeah. Those fades they were incredible. And you guys were doing those fades in 10 minutes.
Fade factory, man. Doing 30, 40 haircuts a day.
10 minutes. And I'm like, yo.
10 minutes. Yeah.
How the sister game?
Believe me, man. When I tell people the stories of like, yo, we used to do 34 haircuts a day. They're like, no. Yeah. And then they're like, how? I was like, what do you mean, how?
A dog.
Out and out.
A dog off.
3 in the skin, 4 in the skin, 2 in the skin.
A dog oster that they don't stop. And let's go. Yeah. When I saw you guys pulling out, boom, 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 I remember when you started working as a graphic designer, you would come at 2.
Yeah.
But I would count my haircuts, and by the time I would come, I had 9. Gene would come at 3, 3:30. By 5, he had 11. Yeah. By 6, he had 12, 15.
By the end of the day, I had 20, 25.
By then, I had 20 something haircuts, and I had 11 still. I'm like, God damn it.
No, but that's because your shear game was on.
I mean, but I didn't have the clientele you had, and then you would condense everybody, and you had the speed, you had the game, and I said, okay, I need to catch up to this guys.
How you were looking at me just go through these cuts, I was looking at you styling, shear work, like precision. I was like, yo, okay, there's no way I could do what I do and do that.
Right.
I got to find a medium.
You got to do either or find a medium. But
and that's where I'm at right now.
So this is the conversation we had right before we started. You said, how did you know what was going to happen? So, Mohawks were still, it's fades and Mohawks.
Yeah, the Mohawks.
So, man, that was the.
I didn't like that faux hawk shit.
That fog, and then
whoever got a faux hawk, but I didn't like it.
and then I brought in. I had a little different flair with the fog. You remember my foghawks had like a little different flair because in Puerto Rico the surfers do that.
The different flair was the shear work again.
Right.
That you would make it blend like a blur all the way to, and everything was even.
Right. There was no division.
Faux hawk and it would just be out of whack.
Yeah. So, because in Puerto Rico, like in Colombia, they do that siete. So imagine if a siete and a faux hawk had a baby.
That was perfect.
That's the surfer haircut in Puerto Rico, and it lives on.
Okay.
The haircut lives on, like a una V.
Uve.
That's what they like a V.
You with the names today. You're on.
Yeah. So una V, that's what they call it over there.
Uve.
Boom, V like a V.
Bro, if somebody tells me Uve, I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's like, it's a trick also. Kevin used to call ninja shadows. Tell the kids. He told me, I tell the kids it's a ninja shadows. When they go to the other barbershop, they don't know what to ask for. They have to come back to me.
What are you going to get? A ninja shadow?
Yeah. What the hell is that? No, it's that other barber. Hey, you should go back to him because he's the one that knows.
Nice.
Strategy,
Yeah,
He worked. So think about it. You got to learn from the OGs, man.
All right, so let's go back. You were cutting shear work. The guy was teaching you everything. You were 15, 16 years old at the time?
Right, yeah, 16. So I started doing that, and then I got really good. And what really pushed me over the limit with the shear work was that one time, this Chinese guy, Shang, you see?
A Chino?
Chino
In
Boricua.
Puerto Rico.
Chino Boricua.
Wow, okay.
Like Chino Boricua, there's a lot there. More than people imagine, whatever. So Chang used to work. He was one of the lead cooks at a Chinese restaurant that was like the top Chinese restaurant in my town.
Okay.
So he used to get a haircut every 6 months. And you used to cut him always, but you used to lace him up.
Yeah.
So when he came, they were really good friends. Oh, yeah, go with my guy. So I started cutting hair.
So he gave you alley-oops.
Yeah, so I started cutting his hair with everything he taught me. And before you know, that remolino, that little swirl, bing. Well, I was 16. I didn't know what to do. I hid in the bathroom, and I was like, bro, the hair doesn't go down. The hair doesn't go down. And what am I going to do now? I didn't know that the guy even spoke Spanish.
Oh, so you started asking?
I was like sweating, like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I went to the bathroom, and like, do you notice? He knocks on the door, yo, fam, in the bathroom, you're never going to learn how to do it. Get out so I can teach you how to fix this problem.
Oh, okay.
He went to that little swirl and went like that. Look.
So give everybody the gems, man. How do you fix that remolino problem?
It's easy. He went to the remolino, wet the hair a little bit, and went like that. To it, just like that. It opened up where it naturally falls. You see how it naturally falls? Now you see this hair is from here, that hair is from there, that hair is from there, that hair is from there. Now,
So
if this is too long,
remolino.
he opened it. If this hair is too long here, cut it here. If that hair is too long there, the hair is too long. This one, you already cut it too short. So you know what you're going to do?
Follow the
No.
guy.
You tell the chino, look that way. And you cut it at the root. You're not supposed to do that.
Okay, so the root, what you're saying is when it goes to the swirl, right where it gets there?
Right. Right there was un pelo that I cut too long and he didn't want to lay down.
short.
Too short. And he didn't want to lay down. So he told
the
me.
rest were laying,
So,
except one was like...
so he told me, I'll tell you when he leaves. Chopped it. He chopped it on the root.
OG.
You know what I'm saying?
Triple OG.
Yeah, what does it say? Ojos que no ven, corazón que no siente. Eyes that don't see, heart that doesn't feel. He never knew what happened.
So he told him, look that way?
No, I'm just exaggerating. But, he's like, no, you see, then you do this. And I'm looking at him like, whoa, what did you do, fam?
And it worked.
But it's everything, whatever. You know what Chan did? He never cut his hair with anybody else until I left Puerto Rico in 2004.
Holy shit.
He let me try. Until I become...
And then you had that hair.
Oh, my God. But he would come every 6 months. So by the time he came, that little palito parado...
Why do chinos do that? They come every 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a cultural thing. I don't know. They have good hair. It lays down. They're
I have
cooking.
a client, man. I love him to death, man. He comes and we have a good conversation always. And he's like, all right, man, I'll see you in a month. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, a month. So that's where the shear game really got polished because he coached me the right, the right way. He let me make mistakes But he was always watching over me.
That's what advanced you in the
Absolutely.
industry?
And because when I got out of there with such confidence in my shear work,
Yeah.
because Carmelo Roman, my teacher, was teaching me how to fade because you needed to do a taper fade
With scissors.
with scissors to pass the shears to get your license.
In Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico, you had to do a traditional shave.
To the skin?
You had to do, in the back. Yes. You had to do a traditional shave and you had to do refine.
Do you use a straight razor also or
A
just
punta de
straight?
tijera. Yeah. So you go, the little.
How do you get it to the skin with the scissors?
No, you just do the little taper here, you know?
It doesn't have to be to the skin.
You know, you do a regular haircut, tapered in the back, pero it has to be with shears.
Oh, wow.
You understand?
Yeah, I totally understand.
Instead of doing it
I
square.
don't understand how you would do this to the skin with the shears.
Well, there's a trick to it. With the little rat tail, there's a trick to it. Because what you do is that when you start, you put that little rat tail all the way in, and you do that line, and it's almost skin.
So you just
it's like a half. So you do that line, and then
angle it to the
then
front.
you fade from the top to the bottom until you meet that, and then it's just like fading when you fade here. It's the same thing, but then you have that little long hair in the bottom. So then that little long hair in the bottom gives you the line, and then you go softly with the blade.
So you use the razor, and that's it.
At the end, and your cake.
Wow.
So you learn that technique. He teaches you how to pass the test, essentially.
Yeah. So when
So-
you took the test, it was like, nut.
So whatever haircut came to school in the morning, people wanted free haircuts, and okay, your hair is not long enough. Your hair is not long enough. So nobody who had a fade or a regular whatever. No, you have to do at least 2 of those little tapers. You're gonna get a fade. Your hair is long enough, but you want a fade? Okay, perfect. You can get a fade. But first, you got to do that. Call them up. Yo, teacher, look, this is done. Check it out. Oh, perfect. Now fade. You see what I'm saying?
Got it.
So that's how I got to practice that part at the shop in the morning, and then afternoon I will go to the barbershop to work because those hours count as how they do it here in school.
Also, apprenticing. They do that like New York.
Right. So I apprenticed at the shop, and it counted like I was in the
Yeah. They do that in New York.
in the barber school.
Yeah.
So my hours,
licensed barber signs you off. Yeah.
right, and then they sign all your hours, which I have the papers at home, which is it's amazing. The guy that pulled my hair, when I wanted to transfer my license over here, you know who I call? I call Hill. Homeboy told me
It's like that movie. What's that movie that he rips $100 bill and he goes, "You keep this.
exactly something like that.
Whenever you need me, just bring it back."
Gems.
Oh, that was the Jersey Boys movie.
So that guy was when I did my license over here. I called him again.
Wow.
I mean, he still cuts my hair. He moved to Miami now. He lives.
He still cut his hair?
He goes to my shop at least once every 2 months. To visit me. I told him
How does that feel?
but it feels amazing. It feels amazing because I have a 79-year-old friend.
I'm sure he feels proud of you, man.
Super proud. Like
That's
not
fucking awesome.
only proud, super proud because because those are the unsung heroes.
Does he make appointments?
You know what? He goes online and makes appointment. Just
charge
because
him?
because hell no. God
say.
forbid I charge that man.
Okay.
You don't even understand the pleasure that it is for me just to be able to see him.
That's how I know you're part of this culture, man. And when I speak culture, it's like it's an industry that I don't treat it as an industry because I don't want to be part of the industry.
Right.
But I love the culture, which is why you're here, Roddy. Because when I remember seeing you, I was like, that's another level. So I got excited. I was like, damn, now I get to learn something.
But you know what? It might be okay. From your point of view, was a different level, but from my point of view, your phase were a different point of level. But everything converged.
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
that's
before-
where we're at now.
Because when we walk right here, I told you there was a difference. Our barbershop was hood because it was really hood, and everybody was hood, and everybody acted hood, and everybody treated each other like they were hood.
When
And
it was time to cut,
but when it was time to work, everybody was there to work.
I
so-
call it cut. 'Cause I don't work.
Yeah, cut.
I
So-
just cut hair.
Cut. So everybody there
Yeah.
had a goal in
That
mind.
was the all-star team. I mean, I would put that team against anybody.
Man, let me tell you something. It was 90s hip hop all day. I will put my little
We
know,
would put because sometimes
and I would put some of that weird, nobody knows underground Theophilus London, and I used to jam Action Bronson there. Everybody looked
Before
at me
Action
like,
Bronson, I remember that.
who the hell is that fat guy that you're putting? Who there? This guy sounds like Ghostface, bro. Stop putting that guy. That guy's imitating. Like, hey, listen, I just
Yeah, I was one of those guys.
I
I
just
was like, yo, he sounds like Ghostface, man.
Yeah.
Well,
man.
Ghostface if you want to hear Ghostface.
I mean,
And then time passed, and we're like,
and
oh
boom,
shit,
yeah.
Roddy was right.
I went to see him. Actually, I have a picture with him.
I've
went
seen him
to
several times.
I went to see him at Eve,
Yeah.
but we were like cuatro gatos there. We're like six. Like he opened the door of the dressing room, like, yo, let these people come in. He lit up a J and started passing it along.
Oh hell.
I don't smoke a lot, but like chef,
Oh, you have to.
the chef went like, yo, you want to like, no, yeah.
You
And then
have
I was there like, oh,
Hell yeah.
blasted. You know what I mean? But it's a good thing. So everybody there was at that level. But when we all converged, is that everybody went there to cut hair. Everybody went there with a purpose.
So let's rewind. You left Puerto Rico because you learned from your mentor.
Right.
How did you come to the United States?
I came to the United States because I unfortunately suffered a divorce, which is something that, although it worked to my benefit, it's not something that I'm like, extremely.
So you had self-awareness to know, okay, I'm a barber. This is what I'm gonna do. You got into some family issues.
And then
Then the concept of being a barber, you wanted to take it to another level.
right. But here's the deal: when I moved to the United States, I had an opportunity. I was riding my bike very, very, very well.
Okay, for people that don't know, Roddy's he's a cyclist, but I'm talking about the real deal, like the fucking Power Ranger outfit, the whole.
The Lycra, yeah.
His bike weighs like nothing.
Dedication, but I mean, I've been everything in cycling, but
Blood,
skinny.
sweat, and tears. Like this guy has wiped out and it's been bad, and he still gets on there. And you play for the Puerto Rican, or you
Well,
you
when I was a kid, yeah, I did make the national team. Like
cyclist.
in
For those that know what a cyclist is, it's the whole.
in BMX when I was a kid, and I was gonna race in Colombia actually.
Colombia is the spot for that too.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
as a kid watching them.
Oh, Colombia, they're
They're
amazing.
fast.
But when
Lance Armstrong, that type of.
when I came here, I had an opportunity to go race against for the national team in an event that was going to happen in Aguascalientes, Mexico. I got that offer. The Olympic Committee gave me a letter because I used to work part time at a hotel in food and
Olympic
beverage.
committee. So this is a big deal.
Yeah, because if you don't get an Olympic
Invite.
right, your workplace, because I used to work in hotels as well as I cut hair. I used to work seasonal in hotels in food and beverage.
And then you would cut hair.
And I would cut hair in the morning, and at night I had that little gig. Because in Puerto Rico, you got to hustle. If not, you were charging $6-8 for a haircut.
I know. And
And
when
it
you
was
told me
2000
that, I was like,
in 2000
what?
in 2001 we were charging $800
Yeah, I never
$8
went-
for a
I
haircut.
never started that low. It was always 10, then it was 15.
Right. So you had to cut a lot of people, and then when I was training, so you had to make ends meet. I had a kid. I got married when I was 19, and all that good stuff. I had a kid when I was 21. So it's very, very young. So I had that supplementary income, and I had health insurance and all that because I was taking a lot of risk on the bike. So
I needed the balance.
yeah, I mean, I used balance. That's a Puerto Rican thing. Everybody in Puerto Rico has 2-3 jobs. You figure it out.
Got it.
Hustle, and then you're a barber. In fact, I never worked anybody else. My interview for that job, they told me, "Have you ever worked anywhere else?" No, I'm a barber. And she asked me, "Okay, so why are you telling me that?" Okay, I get there on time, I do it right, and I don't leave until I'm done.
That's amazing. For those that don't understand, it's very simple. Show up on time. What's the second one?
You do it right, and you don't leave until you're done.
Damn, that sounds
Period.
great.
That's gems. That's barber rules.
Yeah.
Show
I
up on
never
time.
Thought of it, but I did do it.
You did do it.
Yeah.
You show up on time when you said you were going to show up. You did it right because everybody stood up and paid you,
don't
right?
leave until you're done.
And you never left until you were done. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock nights.
So when you're saying don't leave until you're done, you're pretty much saying if something comes walking through that door and they need a cut,
Hey, let's go. I'm game.
dude, I love it that you said that because I'm trying to, I manage people and I'm trying to show them that hustle.
But motivate
There's
them.
no way that I could. The only way that I get through them is if I get a calculator out and I'm like, okay, how much was the haircut? $40. Say you dismiss 2 to 3 people a week. That's $120 times 52. And then I show them the number. They're like, I'm like, that's how much money you're not taking in at the end of the year.
I mean, I believe that, yeah. But since I started, had such humble beginnings, we didn't have internet. We didn't have way to advertise. We didn't have, online booking. We didn't know what we were gonna have.
Yeah, we were just doing what we. That's what I'm saying. I
And
didn't know that.
We were
what you
always
just said.
guessing how many people's gonna walk in the door, how much money are we gonna make,
I just always felt
and we
like
don't know.
I had to be on time
Right.
because
thing
if
is that
I'm not on time,
if you see your schedule that tomorrow is full, like today, you're like, yeah, you know what? I can leave early today.
this
Let's
wasn't no
go.
apps. This was like you write it down.
So you write it down, and then you didn't really know, so you didn't know how much money you were gonna make, so you had to hustle, right? So I took that hustle
We had appointment books, like pages,
pages
and
and
you would write down the name.
the name,
Sometimes you would do a little scratch,
and like
and then at the end of the day, you're like, "What the fuck? Who is that?"
yeah, which is another thing that really set me apart. And there's a lot of clients that I snatched from a lot of you guys
Yeah,
at Choppers when we used to work there.
yeah. Because I'll be like, "Dude, I can't. I'm sorry."
No, and there's a lot of them that just because I remember their name, they were like, okay, I'm cutting with you.
Yeah.
In fact, today I cut un chino that used to cut Will. He played ball. Will Chow. If you see him, the moment you see him, you'll recognize him.
Chino.
Un chino. Will Chow had long hair. He was un chino Mexicano baller.
Yes, yes.
So Will Chow is still my client.
Yo, shout out to Will, man.
Tw-
What's up,
12 years down the line, guy's an engineer, got married. The guy's,
brother? Damn,
that guy's doing it.
that's so great.
But you know what I mean? I remember his name. That guy stuck with me. But you know what I'm saying?
And
He
I
always
believe,
says,
I believe you're a better barber than I am.
but he always said, I didn't know anybody else, and Gene would cut my hair on time, right, every time. But the moment you knew my name, I felt identified. I kept cutting with you because we had a point of connection. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important. But how young were you?
Was that 2010?
Young.
I was like 29, 30.
We were young. So whatever. Move forward. I came here. When I came here, I didn't cut hair because I had a child support. So I started food and beverage. And 2004, 2005 to 2009, I dedicated my life to the restaurants. So I went from being a server in 2004 to being the general manager of a $14 million a year restaurant
In the States.
in Miami.
So you transferred because of that to Miami.
No. Okay, I transferred. When I came from Puerto Rico, I went to Orlando, right?
Like all Puerto Ricans do.
All Puerto Ricans do because my bro was there.
I
He
thought
told
they
me.
just like Mickey Mouse.
He told me, hey, come over. I'll give you shelter
Yeah.
so you can get your foot on the ground because he was the general manager of that restaurant, a Brazilian restaurant there, and he needed people he could trust.
And was barbering in the idea, in the plan?
Absolutely. It was
So
always
you never let go of the trait.
it was always the end goal. However, when I came to the restaurant, it was 2004. I was just a server serving tables.
Right, so take us to that mindset because I want people to understand. Because, like I said, I want people to watch this podcast and understand decision making in the sense if you have no self awareness, you cannot build a self concept.
Oh, absolutely not.
So you were self aware at a young age from what you told us already.
Right.
And then you developed the concept of like, all right, I could do this on the side, but I'm gonna get to this end game, which
Absolutely.
is being a barber shop owner or barber shop elite or whatever it is.
100%. Because the service industry, from the food and beverage standpoint, gave me a perspective that I didn't understand,
Which is service.
which is service.
I always tell people, now as a barber, we do not cut hair. We provide services.
100%.
And if you provide the best service, you could charge the highest price.
Absolutely.
And if you don't, you can't. Like people want to, I'm a barber. I graduated. I want to make $30, $40 haircuts a day. I'm like, bro, there's no way you're going to do it.
It has to. Everything has to go in hand. So, whatever. I came here. I did. Orlando. Did the restaurant. Became a manager. Came to Miami.
Yeah.
Came to Miami. Before you know, I was the GM. The moment I became the general manager of a restaurant, I had 166 employees under my watch, and I was moving all these parts, working 80 something hours a week. I'm like, yo, wait a minute, this is too much.
Yeah, you were.
And when I did the math, I'm losing money here. If I start cutting hair, I pay my guy $20 every time I cut him. I did the math, and I was like, yo, this is barbering is more fulfilling. It takes less of my times.
Yeah.
And This is, there were opportunities that kind of kept me in there because I work for a big corporation that had managing partner opportunities, and with a $50,000
Yeah, for
investment,
somebody that doesn't have a craft,
You can
this
be-
is like an ideal position.
right? You can become a millionaire, if you will. So I was young, I had the energy. Hey, this opportunity, that moment, the opportunity went out the window,
Yeah.
which was in late 2006, no, late 2000, early 2007, I want to say. Once that opportunity went out the window, I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, I'm done. I went to Orlando, back again for a couple of weeks because I was gonna start cutting hair there because I thought it was gonna be easier because there's more Puerto Ricans,
Okay.
right?
What made you think that?
But then when I went there, of course, I did very well in the food and beverage industry. I met some people. They saw that I was there. Roddy, why don't you work with us? I got a banquet job that paid a lot of money and gave me a lot of time to ride my bike. So I was like, okay, let's ride my bike, cut a little hair, and work banquets. A short time happened. I don't know. It's not even 6 months. My now wife went over there. Her mom got sick, came back to Miami.
Okay.
She told me, hey, I love you, but I need to be with my mom. I said, I'm staying.
Oh.
Yeah, but
Decision time.
a couple of weeks later, wait a minute, I'm gonna leave this gem to gamble it here. I threw out all my pride.
Self-awareness.
I threw out all my pride because
Knowledge of self.
absolutely, absolutely, because knowledge of self equals. There's a proverb on the Bible that talks about that. Knowledge of self equals self-control.
Wow.
Because the absence of self-control is foolishness, and foolishness leads to death.
I mean, we're all going to die anyways.
We're all gonna die anyway, but it leads to death of the spirit, death of the purpose, death of the help that you could be in somebody else. It means death.
Yeah,
In-
pretty much what we're saying.
Right.
Knowledge of self gives you a self-concept, but that concept steers you away from all the things that you're
Correct.
not.
So my self-control or my knowledge of self, as it's known here, made a decision. What am I gonna do with pride? What am I gonna pay with that pride trophy? If I take that pride trophy and exchange it for currency, are they gonna give me currency?
Well, nowadays, pride means something else.
Right? You know what I'm saying? Or the lack of.
Or the lack of pride.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So not to criticize any sector, but again,
No, but it is true.
I mean, they swear the whole thing, but still, how much currency can you get of that? Nothing. So I put my pride aside. I say, you know what? This is a gem. This girl has been an asset in my life, and he pushed me. She came with me. She's going after her mother. She has knowledge of self. That her position was her mom was sick. Her position was to be with her mom.
You follow.
I love you, Miami, but I gotta go. I was like, you know what? If she get 10% of that loyalty, if I ever get sick, I need to follow.
Nice.
Because I was here alone.
Yeah.
I had my hands and my craft.
Yeah.
And I went searching it over there,
Uh-huh.
but a part left. So I came back. When I came back, I got trapped again into the restaurant, but that's when they made me a GM and they gave me the money. When they gave me the money, I told my director of operations, I'm a barber, and you just gave me the keys to get out of this.
Out of the barber game.
Out of the restaurant game.
Oh, the money.
He gave me the money to
so
save.
Stacked up.
So I stacked up because man, I went from making almost
Man, I
$80,000.
love your story, dog.
I
Keep
went
going.
from making almost $80,000 a year plus
What year
perks.
was this? What year was that?
This is 2008, late 2008.
That is like 200 grand right now.
Right. Yeah. No, and the perks. Because I had a general manager card.
Because people don't understand. Like when we talk about, since we're OGs,
Yeah.
when we talk about money, people are like, oh, 80 grand, that's nothing.
That's nothing,
Like, bro,
yeah.
back then, that
Yeah,
was
it
a
like-
lot of money.
So, no, and I had a GM card. I would go to any club. I would go to any restaurant. Hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm Roddy. I'm the GM of this restaurant. Oh, yeah? Boom, this is my card. Come in.
Wow.
Boom, come in. Everything free. All the perks. When you add up all the free meals, all the VIPs that I got in clubs, all the stuff that I got, it was priceless. However, it didn't give me the life that I wanted, and it didn't give me the purpose that barbering gave me.
Felt a void.
100%.
So
And
the
the-
concept was in there.
And the creativeness wasn't there. So I came, put my pride aside. I did that. They bought me out. My director of operation, Neil Secri, good with names, huh?
You're amazing. with it.
And Neil Secri, may he rest in peace. He passed away last year. He told me, you ain't no barber.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, what? And the guy who cut my hair, who's the first guy who gave me the opportunity, Albertico, how I call him, Alberto Quintana, great master of the scissors as well. He's amazing. He didn't even believe me. He cut my hair forever.
Okay.
So after I gathered the money, I told yo, Albert, I'm ready. He told me, for real? Yeah, I'm gonna work with you. So you go from making 80 something thousand dollars a year.
In Puerto Rico.
No, here in Miami,
Okay.
in the restaurants, to making nothing at the shop again. So you're the top dog at a restaurant, and now you are the weirdo with tattoos
Because at
and
that
a
time, tattoos was
and
not-
a rat motorcycle. I had a rat motorcycle. You remember my little Roddy? Nobody had a rat motorcycle there.
Where'd you come up with all these concepts to build your self-concept?
I mean,
You
hot,
were always intrigued by that.
all hot rap magazines and punk music, and because I was, I was
you were open to that.
I was a punk kid, but I like everything.
Yeah.
I just like self-expression. And since I was an outlaw, I identify with all this New York hardcore,
Yeah.
thing. And which, in fact, I have this tattoo right here, which is, you can see it's a homage
Yeah, I
to
remember
it.
asking you, like,
Yeah,
yo, you're,
and then
you're
but now
you're
it says,
you're a skinhead, yo?
well, I wasn't a skinhead, but
I know, but that's when I looked at it and I was like, yo.
and then, but it has the RTGT right here
Yeah.
because New York hardcore was written that way.
and
So it's
you
a
had the
homage.
idea.
So it's a homage to all of that, and that's part of the story that is what are some scare tactics that they did in New York that marked me. That's why this boots.
Okay.
So, so I went back to the shop, but imagine you're the top dog at a restaurant. Everybody comes to you, hey Roddy, nice to
Now
see
you gotta
you.
humble yourself.
And then but you gotta understand that you gotta control yourself because this pride thing doesn't yield money, but the vision of the future
Yeah. Self-awareness.
is what you're looking for. I'm not looking here. In the Bible, Paul is Jesus' homie, right? He says, hey, I don't claim that I've been there or that I'm even close, but you know what I'm doing? I'm aiming and straining to that target, which is the prize that I'm going to
your
receive.
Self-awareness let you know that the self-concept you have is what it is you want to do.
Correct. And I was so convinced by it that no matter what came.
No, that's who you are.
Yeah.
And if you weren't doing that, you did not feel fulfilled.
Right. Because they say that the most successful people enjoy the journey more than the
Then the
destination.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like you said, I did graphic design. I went to school. I got 2 bachelors. I did all that. And I was happier cutting hair. And one day I was stuck in a car in traffic. I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I going to this place when I don't want to be there? But then when I would get to the shop, I'll be so happy. So it was a funny story telling my girl at the time, like, yo, I'm not going back. And then she's like, what? I'm like, nah, I'm resigning. I'm not gonna do this now. She's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you gonna do about money? I was like, what do you mean? I'm gonna cut hair. No, you need to have a salary and oh my God. And I was like,
It's this idea. People don't understand what we do and how we do it.
I just didn't want to do that anymore, bro. Like you said, I would come to the shop at 2-3:30 and that was my happy time. I would stay extra because I didn't want to leave.
Yeah. No, I remember.
So
Yeah,
it was
that was pretty cool actually. A lot of these young barbers that I work with, they like to step in and out of the shop.
I never just stepped out.
And there's a culture that at some point I did half, but when we worked together,
Yeah.
I saw that nobody did that.
Oh, we all stayed in there.
Everybody just stay in there.
If
Just
we had lunch, we stay and eat inside.
And
we'll share.
and we had and
It was
yeah,
a tribe.
right. Man, it was,
it was
you know
love.
you know how I felt, man. I felt that shit was Wu-Tang.
I never thought of it that way, but
That
yeah,
shit was-
I've always told everybody like, yo, we had a synergy.
That was Wu-Tang. That was the 36 Chambers.
We had a
bro.
synergy that everybody had their skill set and everybody had their clientele. Nobody took nothing from nobody.
And man, and we were there to help each other out when somebody was in, and it was unsaid. We didn't even have to.
It was Wu-Tang.
It was Wu-Tang. Man, that place was the 36 Chambers.
Yeah, but nobody would know.
It was a soccer team. It was just, it was Real Madrid.
We did everything together, man. It was great times.
It was Real
amazing.
Madrid. It was Real Madrid on
But then
the.
eventually we had to
Everybody grew.
grow and do more.
I remember the day that I remember when I left. Remember you were there the day that I left. That I
Yeah, it
told
was a sad
everybody.
day.
I told everybody, hey, listen, last known about this, whatever. And we kept it a secret. And my opportunity came out of the blue.
Yeah, but you needed to. You grew out of it.
Right. I mean, there was that opportunity there. I was doing online scheduling. Nobody was doing it.
I used to make fun of you, man, because you used to have product and it was like a store. I was like, yo, all you need is that little laser thing that when people walk in, they go beep, boom.
Yeah. I remember
And
that.
I would crack up. I'll be like, yo, what's up with Roddy, man? But you were visionary, man. You were doing it, and I give you props now.
I mean,
I appreciate that you did that because once I did get to another level, I saw it. And I was like, yo, my boy Roddy was doing this way before. Y'all fools were trying
I
to.
mean, yeah. I mean, thank you for that, but although it's not necessary,
Dude, I never saw anybody
appreciate
do
it.
that.
I appreciate it.
I never saw nobody using pomade. Like, nobody freaking cared about pomade.
So when that happened, I thought, I have this opportunity. I used to pass by that little place that I rented.
Yeah.
Every day I used to look at it and stop. Remember that old truck I had? Remember?
Yes.
Like an old 150?
Yes.
And I used to stop there and look at it like, one day. And I remember this lady this is a funny thing, man. So you can crack up. This lady used to do waxing. So one day I got her number and I called her. Listen, I'm going to ask you a weird question.
She used to wax there.
She used to do wax. So
Imagine
imagine.
used to be a salon?
No, it used to be a boutique, but she used to do wax for females.
All right, what Roddy's talking about is like a little house. Okay, what we're talking about is on Bird Road and what?
64.
All right, so in that area, the coding, you're allowed to have a house and create it into a business. It was
Right, yeah.
It was a
Because it's
living space.
It's unincorporated date.
Unincorporated.
So because it's unincorporated date, the rules don't apply. So whatever. This lady had a boutique.
Yeah.
Where she used to do waxing for women over there privately. Just like I started working, she was doing that before we even knew that could be done.
So you hit her up and you said, yeah.
Hey, listen, I saw that place was always empty and I wanted to sublease it from her. But I called her, which is a funny story because I called her like at 8 o'clock at night. Hey, this is my name, whatever. So this is a guy. This is a lady that does waxing, and this is a guy calling her.
All right, so before we get into all that, you were Puerto Rico, you came here, you did your thing, self-knowledge, self-awareness. You started working with us because you wanted to learn how to the ninja fade.
I wanted the ninja fades, and I wanted to incorporate myself into the barber game.
All right, but
in Miami.
School me on how you knew that this classic traditional style was coming.
Because at the time that I started cutting hair in 1992. We're talking about 2009, 2010.
Yeah. That was 17 years later.
So 17 years later. You know how many the trends?
Yeah.
Trends. Okay. Trends, this is a quote. This is my quote, I believe. And it says trends come and go, but the craft remains the same.
That's not your quote. It's a quote, but you made it a barber quote, so now it's Roddy's
Right,
quote.
yeah. So
trends come and go.
craft style and trend changes, but the craft remains the same. And we are barbers. What we do is we take care of people, we cut hair. So I've seen that every 10 years, every 8 to 10 years, there was a shift. Every 8 to 10 years, there was a shift in styles. Because when I started cutting hair, there were mullets, like the ones that are doing now. Those crops that everybody's doing now, used to call Caesars.
You don't try to talk them out of it?
Of the mullets? I mean.
I do. I'm like, yo, you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
It's like, we could do so much more.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? I don't get a lot because my clientele has gotten so niche at this point that most of my clients are just guys that are busy and need to go.
Yeah, but I ask you that question because it's like, at the time, I didn't see it.
Right.
Right? Because like you said, we were just throwing out fades daily.
Right.
And then when you started doing out this fade with the comb over, pomade, blow dry, I'm like, whoa.
And then I saw this greaser stuff.
Yes.
Started picking up. And since I really like, old Volkswagens, I really like old cars.
And then we started getting old classic bugs. And the guy will come in with the...
And I had that Roddy motorcycle. I was already into this whole the cafe racer came because of the punk culture, the British punk culture, and it was coming back. So I say, wait a minute. If the British punk, cafe racer is coming back, so all this stuff is going to come back. The choppers is going to come back.
Saw it.
If the choppers are gonna come back, all the rockabilly stuff is gonna come back because ska, punk, ska, rockabilly go hand in hand.
Correct.
So in the 90s, I saw it when I was in high school.
And now it's coming back.
So I said, okay, this is the cycle. It's coming back.
Let me be ahead of the curve.
So I know how to do this because that's how I was trained.
Oh shit. Okay.
And
Now it
then,
makes sense.
you start at that time, there were magazines and all that stuff because I remember all that post-punk, punk stuff, like, people that might identify, Morrissey. Morrissey had a pompadour.
Yeah.
Morrissey is emblematic. Everybody know who Morrissey is. He had a pompadour, right? And then you Social Distortion.
Yeah.
The vocalist of Social Distortion had a pompadour. The singer of Nuxie Front, Roger Miri, who's in fact Cuban.
What was the band that the guy had
He had a
was it
pompadour.
DRI? They had a fucking crazy.
Oh, they had, DRI, they had like a crazy mohawk.
Yeah.
So, then that led to the ska era. And the ska era in music, everybody had a suit, everybody was just dressed up, and everybody had a traditional haircut. So I say, hey, this is coming back.
So you said I'm gonna start doing this.
So
How did you promote it? Because I remember in our shop, it was in the hood. It was in
right.
Westchester.
So then I will show people, hey, look at these images, bro. Look at this.
And they said,
this,
yeah,
this
let's
is
do
what
it.
come. Oh, shit looks clean. Hey, let's try it out. If you don't like it,
Then fuck it.
fuck it. Boom. But then you had the tattoo shop next door.
And they would help. God.
And then you had you remember that Piercer Vic, the Gordito
yes,
kid?
Yeah.
Boom. He was like, oh, because he was, he was like, oh my God, that's great. Roddy, do that on me. When I did it, oh my God, it looks so great. This is fabulous. So he felt fabulous, and boom. And that started. And then he had that crazy fade with the little comb over next door in the tattoo shop.
Wow.
That door was pumping. Everybody started coming. And then this guy told the other guy, told the other guy, told the other guy. And then I kept
You
posting
were the
them.
only one doing it.
And
at the time.
at the time, I was the only guy active on Instagram
Yes.
at the shop.
Yes.
I
never cared about Instagram.
Right? Nobody did. But I saw it.
Failed.
I saw it as an opportunity. And then people from Great Britain started following me. And actually, Instagram in those days was so pure.
Yeah, it was
You
new.
know, he was
I
great.
didn't even really understand it at the time. Honestly, I was like, "What the fuck?" I put a
Man,
picture,
it was Fresh Face Fridays and Taper Tuesdays and Shout Out Wednesdays, and all the barbers would promote each other, and nobody would compete, and everybody was like, it didn't even have
It was
DMs.
the glory days, right? The beginning.
But I took the opportunity when I got to Shoppers. When I started working with you guys, I think I already had 900 followers on Instagram.
Holy shit!
Everything
Yeah, that was 2012, 2011, no?
yeah, I already had. I think I had 900 followers,
Holy shit!
which was crazy, and most of them were from overseas.
Yeah, but like you said, you were ahead of the curve. You were doing your thing. You had knowledge of self. You had a self-awareness, self-concept, and you execute to perfection, in my opinion, because nobody was doing it.
And a lot of those things were happening in California with this guy from Layrite,
The Hollywood, what's his
Donnie
name?
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Donnie Hollywood in Costa Mesa, which is a place where the rockabilly never goes away, the hot rods never go away. He found a way to capitalize on that. And that's when I learned about the pomade. Oh, we made a pomade like the one from back in the days que usaba Chuito,
Yeah.
my grandpa's barber, because I used to hate cut his hair.
Called and
But it's water based. And then, I fed through there. And I just kept
then you were reading his page, doing
and I was
learning.
just looking online blogs, and at that time
Right,
it
so
was
at this
only
time,
blogs.
how old were you? 2011, where you were what?
No, man, I was already
31, 32?
Oh man, I was already a grown ass man.
You were a grown ass man.
I was already
But you have
30.
developed yourself to a self-awareness,
30.
self-concept that nobody has done, because you're pretty much the only guy I remember doing
I
that.
mean, I think, yeah,
Dude, I don't remember nobody doing it. And I know a lot of barbers. And everybody was doing, yes, the skin fade.
35. The only guy that started doing pompadours and got really good at it
Yes.
in Miami was another punk kid,
I don't know. Who's he?
Hamlet.
Oh, yeah.
Hamlet.
Vice City.
Hamlet
Yes.
started with it. Why? Because he comes from the same culture. He comes from that punk culture. And the punk
Yes.
kids
Yes.
started doing that.
Yes.
Ever
He's in
so
LA
more.
now. Shout out to Hamlet.
So Hamlet started doing it too. And then Hamlet, bam, 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 built it up. And we were both building it up at the same time. Before you know, it was either Hamlet or me for pompadours. And I couldn't even keep. I couldn't even. I couldn't even. When I moved from Choppers,
Yeah.
2018, I didn't know what to do. I was working 6 days a week, top to bottom, 20-minute bookings.
You put 20-minute bookings
I-
for
I-
pompadours,
I had 20-minute bookings, and I had to do them
but
fast.
you learned how to do it.
You know who showed me, right? I learned salud because I didn't have the speed until I saw you guys do that. Mira, that little long. So whatever.
It's all in the wrist, bro.
Yeah. So I start if I didn't have gone there, right? And the big point here is that this is not. I'm not this great inventor.
To me, you are, bro.
I am the guy who had the eyes so open to see the opportunity, right? Learn from the guys who were doing it better than me,
Correct.
and take my pride, toss it.
Yeah.
Because-
I'm told you, man, the reason you're here is because I personally witnessed a person create something out of nothing, in the sense of like, why are you doing this? How are you doing this?
Right.
Who taught you? And then all of a sudden it blew up before it got to the mainstream. So I'm like, yo, Roddy, I gotta get you on the podcast, man. You gotta let us know.
So
But
online
now it all makes sense.
online booking, I was doing online booking in 2011.
And people were like, what?
So, and I had a little text message in my notes that every time somebody would text me, yo, can I come in at this time? I will send in that text message. For bookings, go to rtgtmiami.com.
And people will be like, what?
Damn, this guy has an
I got, a
automated.
lot, I got a lot of kickback from that.
Th-
When I started doing that,
Yeah, this guy has an automated system.
I would get, hey, man, I want to talk to you. Hey, why you treating me like
And then
I'm like, what do you mean?
I will send the same copy and paste back. Hey, Roddy, can I come back at this time? Book at rtgtmiami.com.
You're drilling them with
And
the,
then like,
with the
yo-
way to do it.
Yo, why don't you call? Why don't you answer? Book at RTG Miami. And everybody thought I had an automated system that was kicking back the same message.
You did.
I
But
did.
it was a human
It was
automated.
AI. But
Wow, but you had the vision, man. That's why, again, you're here, and I want you to share with these viewers of how you came about that.
so
You know,
bottom line is that I didn't tunnel vision. I didn't focus. I had $900. I mean $900. 900 followers on Instagram, but because at the time nobody knew what the hell was Instagram.
correct.
So who cares? That wasn't.
But if you think of it now, it was a big deal.
I mean, it was a big deal. But then I that thing got to like 14. I never got into the 20s or 100,000 because I was like, yo, wait a minute. I don't want to be a celebrity. I just want to cut hair.
Self-awareness.
I don't want to be a celebrity because I already was at the top of the restaurant and I didn't like that.
So what would you say to a barber now that wants that? Because everybody wants to be barber famous, celebrity barber. Everybody wants to be the next big thing.
But this,
But you were the next big thing, but you didn't want that.
because I want
What mindset did you have on that?
I have something called out of the body experience. I'm looking at everything at a bird's eye view.
Wow. Okay.
Because if you don't remove yourself from what's happening now,
You can't see.
you can't see the future. If you go into a tunnel, you cannot see with your peripheral what is your vision of the future because you're only looking through small space.
The future could be anything.
The future can be anything. But if you're glancing at it, you
If you have your target,
you always looking at
but
the
you're not
target.
peripheral, you have your peripherals.
Right. You're always looking at whatever's coming.
A door might open.
Correct. And what that might be the door that will take you to where you want to go.
Fuck, Roddy, that shit was amazing.
And then as barbers, we have the opportunity that a lot of people don't have. We interact with great people.
But we have the obligation.
Yeah. We have the obligation and the opportunity to interact with great people who are doing great things and are trusting us, and they are willing to share it with us.
Like creative currency, my boy Roger, man. I told you. he saw it in me, and he's like, "Yo, let's do this, let's do this." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And it makes sense what you're saying,
So
because I have a target vision of where I want to get, but I didn't know that this peripheral view of this door that opened will take me there.
absolutely, you know what I'm saying? So there's all those waves come in and come go. Which one are you going to ride? That's your decision to make. But then again, if you don't remove yourself so you can see everything, you get sucked into something that's not going to yield anything. Because if you want to cut hair to be famous, man, sing reggaeton.
I mean,
Sing reggaeton, you're going to be famous faster.
but okay, but that's the perception, right? Like you said it. The perception is if you have, for instance, example, I know barbers that have 10K followers, and then I look at their posts and they have 20 likes. How does that make sense?
Well, if you see my Instagram now, I have probably, I don't even know because I don't even go to it. My pictures from 2020, like 22.
Yeah.
I don't use it that much, right? All those were generated by algorithms, and they were all ghosts, and they were all like.
So
fake.
you had more likes back then.
I had like that thing had like 16,000 or close to 18. I don't know, close to 20,000 followers. I don't even think I break 6,000 now. How did they disappear?
So how did that happen?
They were all, hashtags and all the stuff generated followers, and a lot of those followers weren't real.
So they were feeding people the fucking makes sense now.
So there's a lot of that people out there that don't have really legitimate followers. Those were followers that were created under that era where the algorithm would create followers and whatever. And there was people who would buy followers.
Yeah, that I know.
But then again, like how much business does that yield? How much does that impact your community?
Which is what we're doing.
Exactly. Because you said that you have trouble inspiring these kids. I had a kid.
No, I have problems wanting to inspire these kids because I'm getting to the point that I'm like, yo, I'm getting to the point where it's like, it doesn't matter how much truth I give them, they don't want it.
They don't want the truth.
And that to me is awkward because I've been in situations where truth is all I've ever wanted to know. And that's why I say in this podcast, all I really know is that we don't know.
Absolutely.
If you tell me you know, if I speak to an educated person and you're telling me, bro, I know, trust me. I'm like, dude, you don't know. So I'm not trusting you.
Absolutely not.
Now, if I meet a person that tells me, Gene, I really don't know, but this is what I think. Oh, okay. Now
right.
we can talk.
Right.
Now you and I are eye.
So again, I didn't break the code. I was following
what you were taught.
And this is what I know how to.
Your intuition.
I know how to do this, and I know that I'm going to show up.
I know how to do this. I like this, and I want to get here.
And I show up and I do it. So with the skills that I got, I think I can get here. Let's go. Because I'm focused. I have my target. I'm going for it. But I'm open to everything else too. And I'm open to trying new things. And I'm open to doing things that nobody else is doing so that I can gain some remarkability. Because there's good, there's better, there's great, there's phenomenal, there's awesome.
Then there's Roddy.
And then there's remarkable.
Okay.
Seth Godin says, a product or service that people are willing to talk about, regardless of the nature of what they're saying, is by definition remarkable.
Wow. Cheers to that.
So if you have a product or service that is remarkable, at that time it's like, yo, Roddy's doing these pompadours. This guy just moved to a private operation and he's by himself. You cannot get a haircut with him unless you book online. This guy won't answer your phone. Who cuts your hair? Oh, this guy named Roddy. Oh, what's his number? Nah, you cannot book with him by his number. You got to go online. What do you mean online?
Yeah, you foresaw it because now that's how it is.
What do you mean online?
People that don't understand, Roddy was doing this 10, 12, 15 years ago.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean you have to book online? Yeah. So now, RTGT Miami or Roddy didn't become, this is guy cuts hair. No, it became a conversation because there's no way to talk about RTGT Miami.
I still want one of those shirts.
Yeah, the CBGB ones.
No, the RT.
With the X? Yeah, with the X.
Yeah, you have them still?
I'm going to do a reprint, yeah.
Do them.
Yeah, I'm going to do a reprint.
Because I want one.
So, So now you become remarkable by doing that. So like to recap, you put the pride aside, but you try to become something that people want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
But you got to remember, there's no pride in this. Forget about the Instagram followers. Forget about whatever you're trying to do. What you're trying to do,
It's hard to tell that to these 18, 19, 20-year-old kids nowadays.
because
Because they're programmed different.
they're programmed different. 100%. What they want,
Us, we get it. 'Cause
what they want,
we used to have to put the control down and go play outside.
but
Now they're not able to do that.
and it really sucks because you work in an operation that's remarkable.
I work in an operation that's remarkable because of the people that make it remarkable.
You know, there's no way that you're gonna talk about a barbershop in Miami without saying, "Hey, this barbershop is so awesome. It's so big. It's so man, this is great, phenomenal. They have a bar. They have this. They greet you.
I
They
give
da
a
da
lot
da."
of props to the
I mean-
interior decorator Diana. Shout out to Dina. She makes it look amazing.
All these, everybody involved in that operation and the way they expand and the way they've conquered every corner, man. That is remarkability. There's no way that you can say that a barbershop that started in front of Miami High is now the leading barbershop in Miami,
I would say nationally.
right?
Because I've never heard of a place except like
These people, you know, what they did, man, that's remarkable. There's good, there's better, there's the best, there's the best. I just told you, but then that's remarkable. When you want to talk about something that stands out, you got to mention where you work at.
correct. Shout out to the spot
You know,
barbershop.
you are right. The spa barbershop, what they're doing is remarkable, and they're expanding and they're keeping the trade alive.
Correct.
You know, and they're giving opportunity to a lot of people to create careers like the one I've enjoyed for over 30 years. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Whoever hates on that, está loco.
Yeah, and people that hate on that are people that are ignorant. They don't
Yeah,
understand
they
what's
don't
going on.
understand. They don't
Well, the
understand.
times.
Now, there's a time and there's a place for everything. Let's say the spot is not, it wasn't my place, but it's yours.
Nah, but if you would work for the spot, you'll be
But you do the same thing. You do this.
like the elitist of the elite.
You do the same thing I do in a different setting, right? But now, what you do for yourself is that you satisfy your creativity. You know yourself that this is what gives you that you're looking for, and now you get to share it with the people that you sit on your chair.
Yeah, I am who I am, and I like talking shit.
Right now,
So I sit there, we talk shit.
if you
I provide the service. They leave happy. I'm happy. We're all happy. Life is good.
and if that gives you the satisfaction that you want and the money that you need,
But I've never been money driven.
No,
Roddy. I've always been a person that
but
the more money I have, the more trouble I get.
right, but you know, you got your kids that you need to take care of, and there's a purpose and there's a responsibility attached to that you need to suffice, right?
Yeah, but us as barbers in the level we're at, that's not an issue.
Yeah. So you can do something that satisfies you for a living, that takes care of the things that are responsibility without even having to go to work.
We don't work. I don't think I work.
I don't
You
work. No. Who? Not
I
me.
feel like I work when I get home and I'm tired.
I get to see.
But
all,
during the day, I'm chilling.
I get to see all my clients and the most interest friends. I get to see all my friends and clients. Yeah, I said that in an interview before. I don't make clients. I make friends.
Correct.
Because friends last forever.
Correct.
So I get to see my friends and I get to hear their stories, and I get to see how they got to where they got, and they share those
Yeah,
gems.
that's what we're doing now. We're sharing our stories. We're letting
They
barbers
share those
that
gems.
watch the
So for
podcast-
the young kids, hey, Instagram is not going to make an impact in your community because you don't live in California. You impress a barber in California today? Okay, cool. He's a barber. He's not going to cut his hair with you. What you need to impress is the mom.
What would be impressive to me is if you have 40,000 followers or 10,000 followers, if you have 10,000 clients, that to me is
Right.
like, holy shit.
So and you want to build on that.
Now you have 10,000 followers, but you have maybe 100
I'm
clients.
a single guy, and this is not. I've been able to accumulate. Let's say my system has 1,610 emails.
Yeah, that means clients that
And-
have, or that's clients that have registered to make an appointment.
To make an appointment with you and have come one or multiple times. I can only cut so many
Exactly.
a day, but that's valuable.
Of course.
That's really valuable.
Of course, it's a circuit.
Because
Yes.
if I ever go into another endeavor, there's
You
a
grab
thousand
those.
there's a thousand
You
people
can
that
sell that. You know that, right?
right. There's a thousand. Yeah, there's a thousand. I'm not gonna.
Data.
Yeah, data. Yeah,
That is what it is.
I've accumulated something that's of value or something else.
Roddy, we're in the future.
Yeah, and it
Data,
costs
data is more than currency.
and it yields more than pride too.
I read that somewhere. Data of a person is worth more than currency.
Wow, that's incredible.
And when I learned that, I was like, yo, we're in a different world now. So that's why I want to teach people or help people learn knowledge of self. Because if you didn't have knowledge of self, you would not be where you're at. You would not make the decisions that you made. You would not think of, okay, this woman is amazing. I know I want something like that.
Oh, absolutely,
And my self-concept is to do this, and this is the way I got to guide myself.
100%.
From what I see, nobody has that direction or that explanation of self
Right.
to have knowledge of self.
So as the elders, it's not only
And knowledge of self, K.O.S. Barbershop podcast
Came through. So-
came through.
so you don't know how to do it there, but you're doing it here, and you're getting the help that you need to do it. So your purpose is going to be served, regardless
Money's off the chain.
if you want or not. Regardless if you want or not, your purpose is going to be served because your creativity and your drive got us here, and we're now.
But time out. I am God fearing and I do have righteous tendencies, even though I steer off sometimes. But at the core, it has to be that. And I appreciate the fact that you Bible verses and you're on that point because that is something that has helped me throughout my life.
I mean, if we don't recognize that, I think when it comes to faith and those beliefs, to say I was raised with Christian beliefs, and I have Christian beliefs, right? But I'm not gonna say here, oh, I'm a Christian. No, I'm not. What I am is what I'm not, and I'm not a Christ denier,
Yeah.
right?
There is a creator, there is a higher being. Because why? I always say it in every podcast, bro. When I have a thought or a doubt, I hear Jiminy Cricket.
Hey, call it what you want.
And that's not me.
You got to call it what you want, and this is what I tell everybody.
That is not me.
If the person that gave you shelter when you were cold, food when you were hungry, and medicine when you were sick taught you that is the way, that is the way. I'm not going to challenge your mother.
Yes.
However,
people we love have always showed us.
a lot of mothers show you that there's something bigger than us.
Of course.
Whether we recognize them or
There
we
has to
name
be,
them,
man. There has to be.
we name them whatever you want to name them. It's okay. I call them Jesus because that's what they taught me. And I learned throughout my life that faith is something that's in our
Wait, what do you call him in Puerto Rico?
Chuito.
Chuito.
That's what my cousin.
Chuito's my dog.
That's what my cousin calls him. True story.
And that's what I'm
My
calling
cousin,
from now on.
my cousin this is my I have my number ones live in Miami.
Yeah.
Which is my cousin, Cheito, which calls Jesus Chuito.
Hey, shout out to Chuito.
And my bro Lionel, who's like my brother, this trifecta. I don't have one, I have two. I have one and a backup, and they have one and a backup. So we're blessed on that. But faith is something that I explain to people. People say, oh, but Roddy, I don't know. You have your imaginary friend. Okay, you call it whatever you want.
They say imaginary friend.
Yeah, we can deny God. Or we can deny.
Do you get angry?
I'm sorry?
You get angry when they say that?
No, I
That's
don't.
good. That's good.
I don't. You know why?
Because you have knowledge yourself.
True. And I don't want to be a fool. Because it will be a fool to deny something that is in our DNA.
I wouldn't say fool. What I would say is you don't want to see it.
Right. So
It's like it's there.
very simple. It's very simple. Look, faith is in our DNA. We were created
To worship.
No, to act on it.
Yeah, it's a worship.
So, which is worship, 100%. There's two things that we can live without. What are they?
A haircut.
That's one of them. Absolutely. But there's two things that we can
Love is
that
one.
we can really live without. So we can live without water, right? Because we'll die of dehydration, or we can live without sleep because we'll go insane,
I think that's what happened to me.
right? So So this is what happens. We are designed to duck in. Do you think Elon Musk invented Tesla? No. God created Tesla.
Yeah, there's
We are
no
designed to
idea.
win.
There's only
Faith is a verb.
yes, the
So it's
interpretation of something that's already happened.
it's a certainty of what you're waiting for and the conviction of what you can't see. That's the definition. In Spanish,
You read.
I try to.
I could tell you read.
So the certainty of what you're waiting for and the conviction of what you can't see. So you are certain that when you feel tired, if you take a nap, if you wake up, you're gonna wake up rested, right?
All right, you know that I died when I was a kid, right?
Oh, I didn't know that.
I overdosed on sleeping pills, and
Look at that.
because my aunt told me they were candy.
Oh wow. Oh yeah, I remember that story.
I died, bro, and I came back. There is no tunnel. There's none of that shit.
So
I just remember waking up and like having tubes and shit.
everywhere. So look. So it's a certainty of what you're waiting for and the conviction of what you can see. So you're certain that if you take a little nap, you're gonna wake up rested, right? And in order to achieve that, you have to go to a place where you can't see. You have to close your eyes. So you can deny God, you can deny faith, but you cannot live without acting on it because it's involuntary. It's part of your design.
Wow.
It's part of your design. There's no denying faith because you live on it. And without it,
You're lost.
you go insane.
And you do absurd, crazy.
So God designed, the guy who created you so you have an intimate time with him, regardless if you want it or not.
And where do you think you obtained this knowledge? Of when you started creating knowledge yourself, or when you had a self-concept?
Well, I
Or
mean,
was it fear?
no. You know what? My face has never been feared. It's never been feared because one thing I learned really early when I walked in the faith realm is that my faith is not because of fear; it's because of grace. Because I receive every day. It says that every morning,
Yeah.
right? He gives you a brand new mercy with this rising of the sun. Without getting too religious, you get a brand new mercy with this rising of the sun. You get a brand new opportunity with this rising of the sun. If you fought with your brother, when the morning comes, if the morning comes, you have the opportunity to apologize. If you owe somebody some money, every time the morning comes, you know what? I have this money and I don't want to lose Gene. Let me just pay him those $10, bro. I'm going to go hungry this morning, but let me just pay him because I'd rather have Gene than the $10.
So that explains a lot, man. That explains a lot why you had that knowledge, why you had the foresight, why you're Roddy.
Because, like I said,
Makes a lot of fucking sense.
like I said
man.
before,
You have everything in your arsenal to build the character that you are today.
like Paul says, I don't claim that I've gotten there. And nothing that I have is mine. It was given to me by grace, by the guy who created. In the Bible, in Spanish says, todo lo puro, todo lo justo, toda buena dádiva desciende de lo alto, del Padre de las luces, en el cual no hay cambio ni sombra de variación. That means that everything that's good only comes from the guy who gives you light. Because at high noon, like our friend High Noon,
I knew. Yes.
at high noon,
Shout out
we
to
don't
High.
cast a shadow.
At all.
The only thing that makes you certain is darkness. When we have anxiety, it's at night. When we feel sick, it's at night. When it's high noon, you know what we feel? We feel great because it's warm and the darkness, you know where it's at? It's under our feet because we are over the brightest presence of that enlightens us.
Wow. That was amazing, Roddy. So now we know how you got here and we know your mindset and you know how you think. So what's coming up in the future, man?
Well, like I told you before, my kids are growing and I hope one day not to have to work as hard as I do right now. But on the meantime, hey, I'm still aiming at the target. I want to grow. I want to share this with people. I've taught a lot of great barbers and they become even greater than I ever thought. I work with the greatest of the industry. That have worked with me and I believe I respect them and everybody's found their way and their north. But I think I still got some more in me and I want to teach
So what's in the future, man?
more kids. Maybe I expand, maybe I become RTGT and make a bigger barbershop and
Shit, man. If you do, I'll be happy to go and work there at least a day.
I
That'd be
think
awesome.
I think that collaboration
Right?
it's the best thing.
Right?
Because I'm working by myself right now,
It's a lot of competition.
but there's no Wu-Tang in my barbershop right now. There's no Wu-Tang.
I don't know. There might be
It's great and it's phenomenal, but it's not Wu-Tang,
I
man.
mean,
I miss
we might
that.
have to reignite the Wu Tang.
I miss that synergy that happens.
Yeah, but that's not
Young
easy to
barbers,
do. That's not
yo-
easy to do.
young barbers to get to where I'm at. 30 years have passed by. So I don't. Do I recommend it? No. Enjoy it. If you're starting, and you don't have a license, go to that barbershop that opens on.
And listen to your intuition, man. Like he said, it was a Wu Tang feel. So he was at the shop and he felt like, oh shit,
I'm part of something
these are
great,
different levels,
right? And
from everybody. If you get to a place and you're surrounded with people that don't inspire you, it's not
it's not the right crew,
it's not a crew, it's a cage.
right?
Because they're all gonna look at you and downgrade you,
Hold
talk
you
shit
back.
about you. If you're around people that inspire you, you're always gonna succeed because you're gonna aspire to be more.
One thing we didn't mention that I think is valuable. You want to be a barber. You're not a great barber until back to school comes, and and you see a mom with 3 kids counting pennies
Yeah. And you're like, don't worry about it.
to cut the kids. And you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know that very well
I've done that several times
several times because that's when you become a real barber
because you're part of the society.
because it's not about Instagram, it's not about money,
You're Superman.
it's about the craft and it's about because you enjoyed it.
Damn, Roddy, I'm glad you brought that up because we never talk about that. And people are always like, how do I make more money? How do I make more money?
Nobody talks about that. A guy that a kid that has become a great barber right now.
Yeah.
I told him, hey, you know what? Before you work with me, why don't you go work Sundays in a barbershop in Little Havana without a license? So you can get shaken a little bit,
And you can see what the reality is.
right? Because barbering is not Instagram.
No.
If it's not in your heart, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah, you know how many I did this one time and it fucking was nuts. I did it. I counted how many free haircuts I give and I put a price to it. Over 10 grand. Over 10 grand.
I don't even know.
Over 10 grand.
My price has gone up.
No, I did it. I did it
No, imagine.
because somebody was asking me like, "Yo, Gene, like," and I was like, "What?" I like they needed help. You know what I'm saying?
But like they say, you know, the world might not be worthwhile, whatever, but something you do might mean the world to somebody else.
correct.
So, and how do you value that?
Yeah, man. I mean, I value my craft, and I know I'm not an
Like-
average barber because I've been in the game for so long and I have so many skill sets. But at the same time, I'm not gonna.
There's somebody out there that said, you know what, Gene or Roddy, these guys are assholes, bro. But you know what? What? Gene? No, fam. This guy was the guy who cut my kids every back to school for free for I don't know how many years.
You know what's amazing that I
Did
love
we
about
do we
being
keep a
barber?
tab?
That now those kids have kids.
Isn't that awesome?
And they bring them to me like, "Yo, Gene," and I'm like, "Yo, they're 2 years old, dog.
I want you.
You don't
to,
want to give them a fade.
Can you give him a design?
Like, yo, give them a fade." I'm like, "No, they're 2 years old. Like, chill.
Cut kids like
give 'em-
kids, bro.
Give them a little time, and then we'll do." But I never want to turn back people. But I'm like, "Yo, dude, I'm not gonna do a 2-year-old right now. Like, chill." It's
Yeah,
crazy.
That's awesome. Everybody has their story, and I know in this podcast you're gonna bring more people that have interesting story, and I hope somebody gets to interview you
Nah, I can't. I'll get
because
nervous.
because your story is
Yeah,
you-
but my story is
your
once I pass away, the story will be told.
your story is
Not that many people know it.
your story is told. Now that you say that, I have something written here in my chest that says "Keep on dreaming,"
Correct.
and
I always
and,
tell people dream
and-
big.
and it's a quote by this singer called Shannon Hoon from a band called Blind Melon. He says that when you think that all your thoughts are broken, it says keep on dreaming, boy, because when you stop dreaming, it's time to die.
Yeah, man. I mean, I seem as a clown to a lot of people, but they don't understand where I've come from and what I've gone through, right? So, because all I have is laughter to lean on.
I think it's perspective.
Because if not, I'll be fucking sad.
Have you ever asked yourself how I saw you?
No.
You want
Because there's always been knowledge of self, knowledge of self, knowledge of. I've never really cared how people perceive me because I'm me. If you don't
100%.
like me, cool.
Would you think that if I tell you it would add value to your knowledge yourself?
Of course.
My perspective was always that that guy in the corner right there, because you work in the corner. That guy that said, shut this guy is so smart that he has the time to have a conversation, cut the hair right, and still overhear what I'm saying and say, nah.
Yeah, man. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
I've always been in the shadows, man, and I've understood knowledge of self without having to explain to me,
Right.
due to the fact that, like I said, when I was young, I didn't understand that. Like I was like, "Yo, I passed away." Yeah, you died. I was like,
Oh, that's crazy.
"Okay, I passed away, and they brought me back to life. How?" And then I would seek knowledge to understand that. At the same time, my mother would punish me by making me read encyclopedias because I wanted a
I
computer,
heard that. I heard that. I heard
but
that.
we were broke.
I heard you say that.
So it was like read B, and then tomorrow I'm gonna ask you on everything about bears. I'm like, fuck. But
Before
little
you,
did I know that was like how people surf the web now for information.
right?
But I was not doing it willingly. I had to do it or else I would get punished.
And you,
So in that, my mind just expanded and I would understand things that people did not know. You understand what I'm saying? Like I understood, like I would ask kids, like, what's your blood type? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, your blood type. What is
think
your blood type?
then being misunderstood is
And
great.
they'll be like, what is a blood type? I'm like,
Being
"Hmm."
misunderstood is a great thing because
So
you're
think of
remarkable before
me
you even
10,
understand.
11, 12 years old in that realm. And then also being a rebel, not giving a fuck.
Right.
Put that in a pot.
Well, we're talking,
And then you
we're talking
got,
the same language.
so then now you understand why I'm like, yeah, motherfucker. And I catch on
Yeah.
because I hear something I identify with. So therefore I understand what you're saying. So I have an input. And that's how it was. And it's always been.
I mean,
So then now we're here.
misunderstood people tend to be at some point the greatest.
All right. So we're getting almost to the end of the interview, man. And it's been amazing. Yo, Roddy, I love the things you're saying, man. You're such a spiritual, loving, caring, artistic person. Uh, This interview has gone more than everything I wish for. It's been great. We always ask something at the end of the interview because now we already talked about Puerto Rico, moving to Miami, inspiring to be more, giving up the riches for the vision.
Mm-hmm.
And then the vision brought you to a place where you're happy and you provide. And now you're a person that is, you can't argue it. You're at a different level than a lot of barbers. And I'm a barber and I see it. I'm like, okay, Roddy could do anything in the sense of like, you learned how to fade from us, you learned how to shoot from your people, and now you're on another level. If you were able to talk to yourself 15 years, 15-year-old Roddy, what would you tell that guy? It's okay.
Man, I mean that's
What would you tell 15-year-old Roddy right now?
you know that I talk to him every day, bro.
Me too.
He's 11 years
But
old,
we
kid.
need to tell the viewers
He's 11 years old.
11
He's 11 years old, and I talk to him every day.
before they pulled your hair.
I'm really right there. I'm relieving every step of it. He lives in my house.
What do you tell him?
I tell him every day, listen, fam, don't lose that persistence. I tell him every day. This is what I tell him.
Persistency.
Persistence. Because he's persistent. He's just thorough. He never gives up. He's game, like
Never
a pit
give
bull.
up. Never give up.
Because that persistence is going to come handy one day.
Fuck yeah.
Nobody told me that.
You felt it.
I felt it.
Knowledge of self, intuition, self concept, self awareness, knowledge of self. And that's what we're trying to portray here in the podcast, man. Like people like Roddy can explain it because they've lived it and they show it every single day. And it's amazing, man, that you were able to explain your journey. Because not that many people see that. People see like, oh, Roddy, he has this, he's a whole bunch of clients, he's good, he's
And there's so many other things to the story. It's not a, maybe somebody grab a skateboard and you saw a skateboard. I skated for a while. I race bikes. You know how many races I've come short of any podium position? And I'm 50 years old. I'm about to be 50 years old. And I still train every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like I want to win a race like when I won the national
yeah, knowledge
championship
yourself, man. You know who
in
you
80
are, you know what
something.
you want, and you do what you got to do.
Because the persistence is what's important. Just got to keep going.
So you're gonna tell that kid, persistence, keep going.
Yeah. Because sometimes I give up. But if I would have gone back, I would have told that kids, hey, don't do it. Use that persistence. You have it. It's yours.
Fuck, that's awesome.
You have it. It's yours. Use it.
Okay, persistence. And then the other thing that I always ask the guest is, you remember the movie The Bronx Tale?
Yeah, I don't
You remember
vaguely.
the time when he's talking to Sonny, and he asked him, he's like, Sonny, would you rather be feared or loved?
Well, Machiavelli said, it's better.
Machiavelli, Tupac, or Machiavelli the book?
Machiavelli, the
Okay.
Romanian Machiavelli.
Okay.
The guy who invented the quote that
Yes,
says
yes,
that it's
yes.
better to be feared than to be loved because you can't betray fear, but you can never. Because you can betray love, but you can never betray fear. It's better to be feared than to be loved because you can betray love, but you can never betray fear.
Wow. You know, you're the first person to say that.
Yeah.
And I know you would be the first person to do it
Yeah.
because you're an independent thinker. I love
So that's something to sink in. It
it. Or
applies.
think about.
Think about it. It applies to certain things. It is better to be feared than to be loved because you can betray love, but you can never betray fear.
Because
Right?
if you do, it's certain consequences.
But the question is, do you really want to be feared? I don't.
That's a different question.
I
That's
don't.
a different podcast.
Yeah.
We're not
I
going there.
don't. I don't. I want to be. I want to be loved.
You want to be loved, but you choose fear because you understand the concept.
Absolutely.
All right.
It need be. I will imply it. But hey,
And then the last question before we dip: perception or reality?
they go hand in hand, man.
Yeah, I know.
They go hand in hand. I will say perception because your perception will always create your reality.
Second person to say that.
Your perception will always create your reality.
Perception will always create a reality.
Perception all day.
Yo, Roddy, man, we appreciate you coming in, man. Stand up guy. I've always said that, and I've always been proud to be a friend of yours, and I've always been proud to gain
Same.
the knowledge of yours.
Likewise.
And the future's bright, man, and hopefully we get to work again in the future, man.
Well, it will happen.
You think so?
Absolutely, man.
I mean, we could make anything happen.
One
After
love.
all this,
One love, kid.
one love.
I keep that thing in.
I designed Roddy a one love poster that it was a project for a class, and I was like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And I took a picture of my hand and I did a whole bunch of crazy shit.
And I took it, and the least, actually, is the only gift I took when I left that shop.
Yeah, that was a gift to you, man.
Is the only guy who
The
gave me a
one
gift.
love. one
The only
love.
guy who gave me a gift was the quiet guy in the corner.
Yeah, I was like, you're right. He's a gift for your new shop.
One love. It meant a lot, and it still means a lot because I still carry it, and it's a gem of my. I collect art, and that's a gem of my art collection.
Y'all sign it.
I
if you want.
appreciate it. Oh, let's do it. Let's go.
Yo, Roddy, man, tell
Thank you,
everybody
man.
how to reach you, find you,
I mean, I'm
talk to you.
RTGT Miami, RTGT Miami, and Instagram, Facebook, and whatever. Website is the same, RTGT Miami, and my personal Instagram is Roddy, L_Roddy. That's a tribute to an autistic friend that I have from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Who every time he sees me, he calls me El Roddy.
Roddy.
So it's a tribute to him because it's a close friend of mine, although he has his limitations. He's an amazing guy, very
We all
loyal
do.
friend.
We all do. We all do.
So That's where I'm at, Instagram, and I'm here in Miami. Whatever you need, this is my home. I don't see me leaving this place unless I'm retired and going back to the
Please
island
don't. Please don't, because we
to
need
kick
more
back.
barbers with your
But
mindset. We need more people with your love, aspiration, faith. And thank you again, brother.
thank
This
you
has
for
been
having
great.
me. Thank you for. Uh,
Thank you for creative currency, Roger. This is awesome.
oh my God, this is
If you need
amazing.
podcasting,
Great. Thank
if
you
you
for
need
the
to do
time.
what you got to do, don't hesitate. Hit up my boy Roger. He'll get you right. Roddy,
One love, Gene.
love you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you. Guys, stay tuned. This is
Salud.
going to be an episode on top of a lot of episodes, and we're going to keep it rolling. All right? Remember, live, love, laugh. Peace.